Welcome to this October 4th edition of the SVG-TV Evening News and Sports. I'm Khalil Kato with the details. The saying goes that there is strength in numbers, and this may have been the motive behind this morning's showing at the High Court as the St. Joseph's Convent Kingstown's legal battle continues. About 30 persons, including principals from across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, nuns, education officials, and past students of the SJCK gathered at the High Court in Kingstown in support of Principal Kalma Balcom. Today's session is a follow-up to an injunction brought by Attorney General Judith Jones-Morgan, which sought to stop an earlier court's order to allow students to return to the institution until the matter was settled. Just after a 2-hour wait, Justice Wesley James announced that during the time lapse, he met with the lawyers of both parties and came to a decision. He also acknowledged that he listened to the news and has heard comments on the ongoing matter. However, this does not sway his mind. The learned judge ruled that the lawsuit brought against the principal of the St. Joseph's Convent Kingstown, Kalma Balcom, the Ministry of Education, represented in court by Chief Education Officer Luann Gilchrist, and Senior Education Officer Asfo Stevens, should also include the Catholic Cluny Board that manages the St. Joseph's Convent. Explaining his decision, the judge said that the school's principal is just a member of the board. Justice James adjourned the court's hearing to Friday, November 15, 2013. The Zero Hunger Initiative among Vincentians will be dealt with in a significant way for the month of October as SVG commemorates World Food Day. Minister of Agriculture Soboto Caesar says the initiative is not only for SVG but is a hemispheric one by the Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO. He says SVG has been working closely with the FAO to ensure that the country has the requisite framework to enhance and develop the Zero Hunger program.
Mr. Reuben Robertson, who is a former Chief of Agriculture here in the ministry, Chief Agriculture Officer here in the ministry, he has been charged with the duty by the FAO to not only establish and organize the program here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but also to see to have an oversight of the program and to flesh out the program in the OECS islands.
Meanwhile, Minister Caesar says the ministry is looking to export increased volumes of provision to the United Kingdom for 2014.
I want to say a special thanks to all stakeholders in the agricultural sector, and definitely when we're celebrating World Food Day, it is a moment for celebration for all stakeholders. The traffickers continue to play a very important role, and it is always the role of the Ministry of Agriculture and the Ministry of Trade to ensure that the relationship between the traffickers on the one hand and the farmers on the other, that this relationship is properly managed and also maintained.
No apology will be issued by the police to Dwayne Sandy, who was deemed a wanted man 5 months ago. In June, police issued a release with Sandy's photograph, deeming him wanted, armed, and dangerous following the daylight robbery of over $100,000 from a postal worker and the shooting of police constable Julani Jack. Following the incident, Sandy was escorted from Grenada by his lawyer, Grant Connell, detained several times in connection to the crime, but was never charged, and maintained his innocence throughout. In September, Sandy traveled to Trinidad and Tobago, but was denied entry into the Twin Island Republic. According to Sandy, the immigration authorities told him he was on the SVG watch list and was still considered wanted. As a result, acting through his lawyer, Sandy demanded an apology from the police. Acting Police Commissioner Michael Charles had earlier told SVG-TV News that he had forwarded the request to the Attorney General for her advice on the matter. But in a letter addressed to Connell, the Attorney General said that Sandy is not entitled to an apology as the police did not breach any of their procedures. Speaking to SVG-TV News earlier today, Connell said the matter is now left up to Sandy on how to proceed. The refurbished wildlife complex at the Botanical Gardens will be a plus to this country's tourism, according to Acting Director of Forestry Fitzgerald Providence. He was speaking at the official handing over of the Nichols Wildlife Complex today by the Loyal Bank SVG. Providence said that it is his hope that when tourists visit the gardens, they will feel at peace as well as comfortable in the newly refurbished facility.
good pathway for them to walk. They will be able to sit on the benches, and they will be able to see the St. Vincent Parrot here in the Botanical Gardens in a comfortable situation. Thank you to Loyal Bank for this effort.
Director of National Parks Andrew Wilson said the work undertaken will go a long way in improving the security at the gardens.
Would have observed that from the work that was undertaken that there has been some improvement to the security of the facility, and this is also a very welcome initiative, recognizing that we also have a unique high price value species that are actually maintained and kept at this particular facility. The work also will impact on the overall enhancement of the botanical gardens. When visitors come to the gardens, this is one of the facilities that is often visited, and as most persons probably would know at this particular juncture that in 2015 the Botanic Gardens will be celebrating its 250th anniversary. So the work also fits into that developmental trust that we at National Parks are undertaking.
Meantime, curator at the Botanical Gardens, Gordon Shallow, thanked the Loyal Bank for their assistance in refurbishing the wildlife complex. He says the assistance made his work as curator much easier.
So primarily meaning that the visitors that visit the gardens, both local and foreigners, this is one of the premier attractions that they come to the gardens for. So they come for the flora, the fauna here, that being of the St. Vincent Parrot, Amazona gildingi, is a very keen attraction. Being on the grounds here from day to day as curator and overseeing the work that was being done, I must say this is a major upliftment to the gardens on a whole and as part of its general tourism product.
Loyal Bank CEO Stephen Costial says that they are very proud to be associated with this project.
I'd like to thank Adrian Barron here, who's standing over here, and he did a lot of work in this, and especially, and Adrian's the CEO, and Agnes Varga, our Chief Operations Officer, who also was instrumental in assisting in this program. I'd like to also comment that we are open to further discussions on further support, and we won't close the door on that.